Hello, everyone, my beautiful land of new coaches, my landers, my community, my people. Love you all. Super happy to be here today. I have a lot to talk about in regards to 10K months, and I'm super excited to let it all out and teach you guys some good stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna dive right in just to try to make this training short. I know time is limited and there's so many things that you could and should be doing in your business. So I definitely want to hit the points that are important for you today. We're going to be talking about three main things. So this training is called My Secret 3-Step Formula to 10K Months. And then I'm gonna talk about my secret 3-step framework that I use to consistently hit 10K months. I'm also going to talk about the one rule that I have around 10K months that no one is telling you. And the last thing is I'm gonna try really hard to give you like an inside look as to what the financials of that looks like for me. Like, how do I actually hit 10K months? That's gonna be really hard. I was trying to figure it out as I got ready for this training, and I'm like, oh my God, it's so ever changing and it's always different. But I'm gonna just give you a slight idea, and just it's gonna help you see that there's many ways to hit 10K months, right? Like there's not just one. So I will get started. For those of you who are new here, welcome, welcome. I'm really happy to have you in the group. My name is Iuliano, and I am a business and confidence coach for coaches. I pretty much help coaches reach 5-figure months, get confident, get clients, make money doing what they love. I help you get online, grow your community, and do amazing, magical things together. I've been doing this for about 5 years, and I absolutely love it. What else do I need to say before we begin? Am I missing something? If you guys are here, drop me an emoji and let me know that you're here. If you're ready to hit 10K months in your business, drop me an emoji too. I definitely want to know if that's a goal that you have right now at the moment, which if you're here, you probably do. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to talk about some things that a lot of people don't talk about as usual. And I'm going to give you different perspectives because I think my duty as a business coach is to really be transparent with you about so many things that you may not be aware of, okay? So I'm gonna start with my 3-step formula that I use and give you kind of like a little disclaimer of like, this is not the only way, right? Like, there's so many ways to grow a business. There's so many steps that you could take. There's so many things that you could be doing. So like something I'm gonna talk about today, it's like, a really big piece of hitting 5-figure months or hitting your next income goal is you really have to kind of unlearn what you've learned and really go back to like what's going to work for you, right? And like what's feeling good to you, and what are the strategies that are in alignment with your lifestyle? What are the strategies that are in alignment with the amount of time that you have? What are the strategies that actually makes sense for your community size or for the budget that you have to start your business, for the capital that you have, right? Like you really kind of have to like unlearn all of those pieces. So I am going to give you my 3-step framework. I literally use this throughout my practice with my clients in my own business. This is like the things that I live with, but also know that this is not the only way, and I'm not offended if you don't agree with it. I think most of it is very relatable, so you'll be able to use some pieces, but you also have freedom to continue learning and expanding and experiencing things. So my 3-step system is intuition, confidence, and strategy, and I'm going to go a little deeper into each of those. I actually had a friend who I love, and she's like, you really need to switch those around and say strategy, confidence, and intuition, because that's kind of like what most people aim for. Most people want the strategy. Most people want the like, what do I do? What should I be focusing on? What steps do I need to take? What's the magic pill? So and so and so on. So although I do change that in my copy, for the purposes of this training, I kind of switch them back to what I think is the most important thing. And I really do think that intuition and self-trust is the first step to hitting those 5-figure months. Because, like I said before, there is not one way to do this, guys. There's so many ways in which you can hit 5-figure months. And if you're constantly going from training to training, from freebie to freebie, from course to course, from this to this, and you still think that it's a strategy problem, it most likely means that the first thing you need to do is go back to trusting yourself, right? And stop putting so much emphasis on what other people are telling you to do, because that's only leaving you more confused. Like, I can probably put some money on the table that if you're watching this, you have definitely, most likely, taken some courses already that have given you strategies. You maybe even have worked with some coaches. You maybe have joined a group program. And even if you haven't done anything that's paid, I'm sure you've done free challenges or free trainings or downloaded freebies. So you have some concepts to work with, but you're feeling confused and stressed and overwhelmed, and like, you know what to do, you just don't know what to focus on. And like, that's why intuition and self-trust is the first thing. You really kind of have to like relearn everything that you've learned and come back to your ability to trust yourself. I've had clients who have been working on their business. Just a client just recently, just to give you a fresh example, she's been working in her business for a really long time. And the main thing, it's so crazy because the main thing is always like, let's go to the strategy. So we started working together and she's like, let's go to the strategy. And I'm like, yes, let's go to the strategy, but also, can we just break down what you think that should be happening in your business and go back to like what your gut is telling you to do for a second? And I'm not even kidding. The second that she started doing that, like the month that she did that, she literally booked like more than 30 calls, like paid calls, after not booking any paying clients. And yeah, did we strategize around it? Yeah, but also we strategized around what her gut was telling her to do, what felt good to her. Like, she finally was able to stay away from like outside motivation or outside reassurance or giving her power to an outside force and go back to like, you know what? I know I can trust myself to take the next step. Okay. Let's see. I have little notes so I don't go off on a tangent here. So this is really hard. This is probably the hardest step in the 3-step formula. I know a lot of you think like, oh yeah, the strategy is the hard part, or like, oh, building my confidence is the hard part. And yeah, those two things could be a little bit hard, but really going back to trusting yourself fully, especially in the online world, can be super hard, because we're constantly bombarded with information. We're constantly bombarded with like fear-based messages. We're constantly bombarded with what other people are doing that's working for them. And I don't know if you guys notice, when you read like case studies of people who have achieved amazing things, they all have a different strategy. Some of them are using Instagram, some of them did hashtags, some of them did Facebook ads, some of them did funnels, some of them did calls, some of them did LinkedIn, some of them did Facebook, right? Like, everyone has a different strategy. So if you think about it, it's not the strategy itself, but really it's your capacity to believe in it and execute it in a way that's going to work for you, and to trust yourself to pick the strategy that works for you. Obviously, and especially if you're working with a coach and someone to guide you through the process, who's been there and who has helped a lot of people do that, obviously you're going to create strategies that kind of like accelerate you to that. But really, at the end of the day, that's not the main thing, and that's not even the hardest thing. The strategy is usually easy when the confidence and the self-trust is there. Okay, write that down. If you guys have a journal and pen here, write that down. The strategy is easy when you have the confidence and trust and self-trust to move towards it. It's really that simple. So with that said, okay, so like, once you start working on like, okay, I can trust myself, right? Like, I don't have to have all the answers, but I trust that I have an inner compass to kind of guide me along the way, to bring me the right people, to bring me the right trainings, to not have like bright, shiny object syndrome where you're like from this to this to this to this, and you're just giving your power to everyone else. The next step in my formula is confidence. Okay, so now you're like coming back to trusting yourself, but like the next question for me is like, do you believe that this is possible for you? Okay, do you believe that you can actually make this happen, that you can actually hit 10K months? Do you believe in yourself to make it happen? Do you believe in your industry? Do you believe that you will figure it out if things don't work out the way you expect it to, right? Like that confidence piece is the next step, because you really, truly, deeply need to believe in yourself, not just so that you can hit 10K months, but if you think about it as service providers, people want to work with people who have confidence, right? Like you don't want to hire a coach who's like, yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm kind of good at this. I'm not really sure, right? Like not only is that going to help you with the process of hitting high income months, but it's also going to help you book more clients, attract more sales, because people do want to work with the confident coach. No one wants to work with a coach who's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, the one who's constantly questioning themselves, the one who's constantly wondering like, am I fit for this? Am I good for this? Why would someone hire me? So like that confidence piece is so important for your income growth and also for your attraction as well. And here's what I have to say about that in regards to hitting 10K months. Okay, so here's the game that we're gonna play for this live stream. Every time I say 10K months, drop me a money emoji. I'm gonna be rich by the end, because it's probably the thing I'm gonna say the most. Okay, but here's what I have to say around confidence with 10K months. I feel like so many people are like, how do I get into that 6-figure mindset, right? Like, how do I get into that 10K month mindset and confidence? How can I step into my inner Oprah and my inner Tony Robbins? And that's beautiful. I love that. But you know what's easier sometimes? And a lot of people don't talk about this. Sometimes it's a lot easier to move up energetically into that. So what I mean is, if you've never hit a 10K month before, maybe it's going to be really difficult for you to be confident around hitting a 10K month. But maybe you can step up to, let's say you've made $0. Maybe you can step up to $1,000, right? And then once you hit $1,000, you can like level up your confidence to $2,000. Once you hit $2,000, you can level it up to $5,000. Once you hit $5,000, you can level it up to $8,000. Does that mean that you're gonna go from like 0 to 1,000 to 2,000 to 5,000? No, like you could literally skip from like 3,000 to 10,000. The point is that you're moving forward in your business with an energy of confidence, of I believe this is possible. I believe in myself. I believe in my capacity. I believe I can make this happen. Not all of you are going to do this. Not all of you are going to do like incremental increase. But if you're having trouble believing in yourself in the process of hitting 5-figure months, try that, right? Like if it hasn't worked, if trying to get into like the energy of 10K months is not working and all you're doing is questioning yourself, then try what I'm saying. Try leveling up based on where you are. Sometimes that gives you way more rapid results than trying to jump from like point A to point Z. Okay, I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm just saying if that hasn't worked for you, try it this way. Incremental increase, move up and step into the energy. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's really all I want to say about confidence. I can literally talk about this all day long. But when it comes to this specific training and this specific goal that you guys have, which is let's hit that 5-figure month, that's the main thing. You really have to stand behind it. You really have to believe that it's possible for you. If you don't believe that it's possible for you, it's not going to be possible for you. And actually, when I get to the next piece, which is the one rule that I have about 10K months, you're going to see how sometimes wanting the 10K month so bad means that you don't believe that it's possible. Okay, so we'll get there really soon, but I do want to talk about the strategy piece because I definitely think that obviously you can't just sit there all day and build your confidence. You can't sit there all day and meditate. You can't sit there all day and work on like your intuition and your gut and your self-trust, because then your business is going to not be moving forward at all. So there has to be steps that you're consistently implementing in your business. So if you want, I always say this, you guys probably hear me repeat the same things over and over again, but I always say this. If you want 10K, consistent 10K months, you need to consistently show up for your business. I think consistency is like one of those things that I talk about the most, like the most, because it's such an important piece. If you think about this, what's your favorite grocery store? Like, where do you do your shopping? Drop me a comment in the comment section. I'm gonna scroll down. Let's welcome you guys. Hi Edzo, hi Morgan, hi Amber, Kindy, Jennifer, hey lady, Selena. It still says, yes, so many freebies, paid courses, join group programs. Yeah. Stephanie, hello. Is this the masterclass? Yes, this is the masterclass. Hi, Simona. Oh my God, I'm sending you so much love right now. Julianne, Michelle, hey, Naomi, Meryl, welcome everyone. Deborah and anyone else that I missed. Welcome, ladies. Okay, so consistency is such a big piece. If you think about it, like, drop me in the comment section what your favorite grocery store is. Like, to me, it's 3. I have Publix, which is like a South Florida grocery store, which is incredibly expensive, but it's so convenient, right? So I have one next to my house. Most neighborhoods have one next to their house, and it's like their thing, it's not shopping is cheap. Their thing is shopping is a pleasure. It really is. You go there, it's so clean, it's so organized, you find everything that you need, and it's incredibly overpriced. I have Aldi's, which is super cheap, right? But it's a little bit less convenient. I have to drive a little bit farther, and it's a little bit more disorganized, and sometimes they don't have everything I need. And then I have Walmart. Like, those are the 3 places where I shop the most for groceries. And sometimes I'll go to Costco. But if I think about those 3 stores, they are constantly open. They are constantly marketing to me. I've been living in South Florida since 2003. So what is that, 16 years? I have been seeing the same Publix commercials all the time, right? Like, Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. They do not stop. So if you want those consistent high income goals, you also need to not stop. Businesses are opened every day. You need to be opened every day in order to receive more sales, which in turn will turn into higher income months. You have to do this every single day. And for some of you, that may feel a little bit intimidating, right? Like, but I'm busy, but I'm this, but I'm that. And that's where aligned strategy comes in, which is the 3rd piece. Like, you have to create a strategy that's in alignment with you. You have to create a strategy that's in alignment with your lifestyle, with your strengths, with your weaknesses, with your income goals, with your business model, with what feels good to you, where your clients are. So you really do have to create an aligned strategy. And that's why a lot of times courses and trainings and freebies do not work, because they're just like, okay, here, I've done this. This is what worked for me. You go do it, and it should work for you. That's not how it is, because we're so unique. Like, we are such unique individuals, and businesses are such a unique thing, and there's so many ways to grow it. So you have to create a strategy that's in alignment to you, and that's the only way that you're going to be able to show up consistently for your business, and therefore create consistent high income goals. That's the only way, right? And if you think about, like, my previous example, it's like, all those stores have a different, like, schedule, right? Like, Publix opens, what time do they open? My Publix opens, I think, from like 9 to 10, right? Aldi's opens like 10 to 8. Walmart is open 24 hours. Costco is open until 6. I don't know. Honestly, I can't remember. But the point is, they each have their own strategy. They each have their own inventory. They each have their own business model. They each have their own opening hours or marketing budgets. They're different, but they all work. So you have to find which one is going to work for you. You don't have to be a Publix. That's not the only way. You don't have to be an Aldi's. You don't have to be a Walmart. There's so many ways to make this happen. And when you find the way that works for you, you're going to be able to consistently show up. Okay, so I know that was repetitive, but I really want to, like, drill this message because this is so important. Let's see. So when I talk about aligned strategy, that does not mean that you're out there looking for the magic pill. So a big mistake that I see around strategy when it comes to hitting 10K months is everyone's looking for, like, the perfect strategy. Like, what is the strategy that is going to guarantee me the 10K months, and that is never going to fail, and that I'll never have a block around it, and that I don't have to do the things that I'm uncomfortable with, and that is easy and fun and it flows? And awesome, like, obviously you're going to work towards that strategy, but specifically at the beginning, that's not going to be the case. And you're not looking for the magic pill. You're not looking for like, what's the one thing that I could do so I could hit 10K months? You're looking for the thing that works for you and that you're going to work it until you hit those 10K months. There's such a big misconception in this industry where it's like, there has to be that thing, right? Like, what's that thing that she did that magically from one day to another, she was super successful? It's like, you know what she did? She just kept putting in the work until she figured out the strategy that worked for her. And then she leveraged the crap out of that strategy over and over and over again. That's what she did. That's what most people do. Another big thing that I see with strategy is like, we're looking for that strategy that guarantees certainty. Okay. And if you're looking for something that guarantees certainty, entrepreneurship is not your path, right? And look, myself included, I sometimes struggle with generalized anxiety. So it's really difficult for me to know that the career path that I'm on, it's probably one of the most uncertain career paths that I could think of. But that's the reality of the industry and the choices that we're making, is that there's really nothing certain in business. You could have a launch one year and make $30,000, and then the next year no one signs up for it. It's uncertain. There's no thing that will guarantee that your strategy will work over and over and over again. You can have an ad running that's been generating consistent revenue for 8 months, and then next month Facebook changes their thing and that ad no longer works. So looking for certainty in a strategy is only keeping you away from actually working that strategy to the best of your capacity and finding creative solutions to make it work and generate the income that you want. So give yourself permission to just let go of the need for things to be certain, because you will not find it. And I get why we think like that, right? Like, we're marketed to every single day. Like, if you buy this, all your problems will be solved. If you do this, all your desires will be achieved, right? So we're like, oh, well, what's that thing that will, ta-da, just like magically give me complete certainty in my business? And it's like, nothing is that thing. Nothing. Can we create sustainable systems that are 99% likely to work over and over again once we make them work in a way that feels good to us? Yes. That's how I get to fully book out my coaching practice over and over and over again. That's how I get to hit consistent 5-figure months over and over and over again, because I have created systems that typically work for me. Am I guaranteed for that to happen every single time? No. There's no certainty in what I'm doing, right? There's no certainty in what my coaches are doing. There's no certainty in anything. And that's okay. That is totally okay. Stop searching for that, because that's only keeping you stuck from hitting 5-figure months. Let's see. Hi, Rachel. Simona loves Publix. Of course you do. It still says, after a talk, I got so pumped, I showed up way more and had 5 new people sign up to my challenge. I love that. Itzel and I just talked, and I gave her some business input, and she just, that's amazing. I'm like super happy right now. Hi, Lamorla. Jennifer says yes. Jennifer says Safeway. Awesome. And Randy. Okay, cool. Okay, so it's impossible for me to give you a specific strategy for your business right now and tell you like, here's what I want you to do to hit 10K months. So I'm gonna kind of like generalize it for you. Okay, I'm gonna generalize a few steps that I think most people need to do in the online world to hit higher income goals and to make more sales. And then your job is to, by yourself, trial and error, or with a coach, is for you to start figuring out what your path is going to be. And then I'm going to tell you what's even more important than that strategy itself, okay? So I think some of the main components that you need to have in place to hit 5-figure months are, you need to know who your ideal client is. Broken record, I know everyone tells you that, but you really do need to know them, right? It's like, if you want to be in a long-term relationship, you need to know your partner and what they like and what they don't, and what to do when they get mad. You just need to understand them so you can navigate through everything. And you need to be clear in that. Do you need to be super specific and super niche down? No, I would say 50% of my clients are super niche down, and then 50% of my clients are like broad. The point is, you just need to be clear. So like what they want, what they need, what problems they have, so that you can solve them. You need to have something that solves that problem for them, right? And it needs to be good. And here's something that a lot of people are missing. It's like, it's not just about creating a program or a course or a coaching package. It's not, this step is not just about that. It's about creating something that's actually going to help them generate transformation and to have a great client experience. Does that mean that all of your clients are going to get the same results? Obviously not. That's not how it works. Like, not everyone who gets sick gets healed the same way. Not everyone who fights a case with a lawyer wins. That's just not how the service world works. But it means that you have a really freaking good program, right? And you're constantly enhancing it so that your clients are happy, because happy clients equals more sales, equals more referrals, equal more testimonials, which equals more income, which equals easier 10K months, okay? So step 2 is super good, super important. Step number 3, in the online world, you need a community. You absolutely 100% need to grow your community. It's going to be really hard for you to hit 5-figure months if you don't have a community. Do you need 10,000 people in your email list? No. Guys, I book out my practice every single time. I think I just hit like 2,500 people in my email list. You don't need that many people. You really don't. I mean, you see this group. This is not one of the biggest groups that there are. And even before that, even before I got to like 1,000 or 2,000, I was still booking out my practice. So you don't need massive numbers. You just need an engaged community that you're serving, that you're connecting with, that you're understanding, that you're selling to, that you're engaging with. Like, you need that 100%. Then you need to sell. And you need to sell all the time. And you need to sell not just once a month, not just twice a week. You need to sell pretty much almost every single day, okay? And, does that mean that you have to like actually sell your program every single day? No, but you have to look at everything in your business as a vehicle for sales. So like every live stream that you do it with intention, because that's a potential sell in the future. Every piece of content that you share, do it with intention, because that's a potential sell in the future. Everything that you do in your business, you need to look at it, like in regards with visibility, you need to look at it as a potential, how do I say this? Like trampoline enhancement, or I can't find the right word. Whatever. It's like a propeller. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm like rockets, launch. They're potential propellers to making more sales when you're actually making the sell. So, some of you may not want to sell every single day because you don't have that many vehicles of visibility right now, but you want to definitely be selling a few times a week. What do you do in those days in between? You're writing content and you're getting visible and you're making connections in a way that makes people really excited to join your stuff when you actually sell. So you really have to focus on selling and really get over the fear of inviting people to your things, of launching things, of sharing your programs, because it sounds so simple, but that's how you hit 5-figure months. You sell, right? And then this is the piece that I cannot do with you, but you need to create a strategy to make those sales, right? Like, you need to figure out, like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to show up? How am I going to show up? How am I going to position this? How am I going to structure this? Am I going to do it with organic reach? Am I going to do it with paid advertising? What's my budget? What's my non-budget, right? Like, what resources do I have? What tools do I have? What do people need to know? What type of live streams can I do? What type of sales emails should I get? How do I get to grow my community? Those are all questions that you need to work on by yourself or with a coach or whatever, so that you can figure out, like, what's my strategy? And this is the most important piece, okay? If you're gonna get anything from the strategy piece of this training, is this. Once you solidify your strategy, once you're like, okay, so this month, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna focus on community growth. So I'm literally giving you my strategy. This month, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on community growth and community connection, right? So my plan for that and my strategy for that is to do this Friday trainings for at least 4 consecutive times. So for an entire month. so that I can come in here and connect with you and vibe with you and tell you a little bit about how I work and try to help you generate some results, okay? So that next month, when I have something excited to share, you guys know me, you know my work, you know what I do, and you're going to at least be more likely to read my post, right? So once you commit to that strategy, this is the most important thing. You stick to it until the very end. This is where most people miss the mark. This is where most people miss the mark, guys. It's not in figuring out the strategy. It's not in growing your community. It's not in that, right? Like, most people miss the mark in wanting to quit halfway through the strategy. So that means that if today only 8 people signed up for my training, which I'm used to, if I'm promoting something for a week, I'm used to like anywhere from like 25 to like 65 signing up if I just do organic advertisement, right? So that's like kind of like what my numbers look like. If only 8 people sign up for my training today, that means I'm going to show up for my training today. And that means that I'm not going to quit my training for next year. That means I'm going to stick to my strategy, because that's going to be the only way for me to test out if this is working, if it's not working, for me to find creative solutions as to why it's not working, how I can make it work more, and things like that. So this is the piece that's most important when it comes to the strategic piece of hitting 10K months. You really have to commit to it, and you have to go until the very end. This means that if you're launching something and no one's opening your emails, that doesn't mean you quit your launch. That means you keep going, right? That means you change your subject lines. That means you try to grow your email list a little bit more. That means that you try to add a component like strategy sessions, or maybe that means that you start to show up in a different platform, or instead of just doing posts, you start doing stories as well. Like, that's the only way that you're going to find creative solutions to hit the goals that you want, okay? So thus far, who is with me? Let me know. Let's see. Okay, I want to say this name in Spanish, Violeta, but I'm going to try to say it in English, which I have no idea how to do that, which is Violi. Like, can you tell me if I'm saying it right? But hey, Violi. Ashmina, Stephanie, hey girl. Fabienne, Suzanne, Meg, and Sarah. Hey, lovely. This is pure gold. You're pure gold, and I want to see you soon. Okay, so let's move on to the next piece. If anyone has any questions, post them in the comments. If I don't get to answer them here, I'll definitely come back and answer them. Okay, so I want to talk about like the one rule I have around 10K months that no one is really talking about, because everyone's trying to like hardcore market to you, which is totally fine. I'm like, marketing is a huge piece of growing an online business, but my main rule is, and this is hard, like this is really freaking hard, and it was a lot harder for a long time, but my main rule is stop focusing on 10K months, right? Like, why is that the thing that we're obsessed about? And when I like this specific piece, I want you to know that I'm talking from pure experience. Like, why are we so obsessed with hitting 10K months? That is so focusing on the wrong things. That is so like giving some of your entrepreneur power away, because you're not focusing on serving your people, creating solutions for them, finding ways in which you can increase your productivity, finding ways in which you can increase your community growth, right? So like when you're focused on like the 10K month, I want to take the 10K month, I want it. Your mind is just constantly thinking about that. And it's like, you're not focusing on the things that you need to be doing to get there. So my main role is I don't focus on it anymore. And I'm going to be honest here. Some months I hit 10K. Some months I hit 15K. Some months I hit 18K. And there have definitely been months along the way where I hit 5K, 8K. And that's okay. And I'm talking cash here. There's also two things. And like some of you may or may not know this. There's 10K months in sales, which means, let's say you booked 3 one-on-one coaching programs and they're paying you monthly. That's 10K months in sales, right? Let's say each program is what? $4,000. So that's $12,000 in sales, which means you made $12,000 in sales of sales that are coming from future months. And then there's cash months, which is you booked 3 one-on-one coaching programs for $4,000 and they paid you cash today. So that's cash months. There's no right or wrong way. There's just different ways of like measuring your business numbers. I don't really care. I just need you guys to know that there's 2 ways to measure that. But the point is, going back to my original point, why are we so focused on 10K months? That is only putting so much stress and so much nervousness and so much like pressure on yourself sometimes that it goes against everything that you literally need to be doing to hit those 10K months. And I get it that those are the norm in the online world. And I get it that that's like the thing that we're going to move towards. And I get it that we need to have goals, right? Like, I'm still going to draw out my number with a K. I wish I had mine, but I usually like my next income goal, I just write it down and I draw it and I put it there and I can see it. But once I do that, I let it go, right? I let it go. And if it comes, it comes. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And you know what that takes away too also? It's like when we're so focused on the 10K month and then the month ends and we've only made $3,000 in sales. You know what that does? It makes us feel like crap. It makes us feel like we're not enough, and it makes us feel like our achievement means nothing. And that's not okay. Like I really want to start opening up this conversation. Like it's not okay to look at making $500 in your business as something bad. It's not okay to look at making $5,000 in your business as something bad. Like most jobs, like most basic jobs will not pay you $5,000. And so I really want to start bringing more gratitude to all income so that we can feel good about our business and we can show up more for it and we can actually open up the possibility of hitting 5 figures months more consistently. Like it wasn't until I learned to dance with the detachment of the 5-figure month that I hit more 5-figure months. Right? Like when I was so obsessed with them, I couldn't hit them because I was so like, there was no positivity around anything. I could literally book 3 clients in a day and I'll be like, oh man, I didn't hit my 10K month. Like, what the hell is that, guys? Right? Like we really don't have that capacity to be grateful and to be in an energy of excitement in our business if we're so obsessed with a goal. Because all the way from here to until we get there, we're going to be miserable and it's just going to make your journey so much harder. So that's my rule. And I mean, this rule comes with a few more things, which is the more you stress about it, the more that you're in the energy of not having it, right? So like, the more that you're like, I really want the 10K month, I want it. It's like the more that you're telling yourself that you really don't believe that it's happening. Because if I believe something's happening, I'm like, I know it's happening. Like a perfect example, and some of you may relate to this. I don't know if I'm the only person who's ever experienced this, but when I was a little girl, my grandpa specifically, my grandparents are very old school. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen The Marvelous Miss Maisel. I just started watching it. My grandparents are kind of like the parents of Miss Maisel. They're super old school. They had a maid who was family, and they believe like in the marriage thing, and the guy provides and the woman, you know, they're super old school. So I remember my grandpa specifically telling me like, you need to find a man that provides for you. And in my mind, I was a little girl, but I was like, what? No, I'm going to make so much money that my man is just going to love me, right? Like I'm not going to be in that relationship for that. So it's kind of like I grew up with that belief of like, I know I will find that person because I know that that's what's possible for me. And I have no idea where this came from. Maybe it came from watching too many like Spanish telenovelas when I was a little girl, but I just believed in love and I believed in an honest, loving, caring relationship. And because I believed in it so much, it just came to me, right? And the moments in my life where I obsessed over it, like when I was in high school, it didn't come to me, actually. It was miserable, and I always picked the wrong thing because I was so obsessed with a result that I didn't believe that was possible. And then when I broke up with my boyfriend, with my former boyfriend, and I was like, you know what, this is happening, and when it happens, that's when it came. So I hope this analogy makes sense. I didn't want to bring my romantic life to this training, but really, like, I hope the analogy makes sense. Like, the more that you believe in it, the less that you have to stress over it because you know it's happening. So why are you obsessing over it? There's no, like, you know the 5-figure months are coming. So your job is to just put in the work, knowing that they're coming. Every time that you obsess over it, you're questioning your capacity to make it happen, which means that you're questioning the possibility of it. And the more that you question the possibility of it, the more that you're in the energy of not trusting yourself, not trusting the process, and not being confident in your capacity to grow your business. It's that simple. Does this make sense? Let me know if this makes sense and if my analogy somehow related to what I'm trying to express here. Okay, so the other thing that comes from this is obsessing over the goal only keeps you away from finding creative solutions to hit the goal. So, okay, so the example I gave before, like when I was super miserable about my business journey, I would book 3 clients and I would be like, oh my God, I still haven't hit my 10K months. That sucks. It's horrible. I'm never going to be able to do it. End of story. When in reality, I probably had 12 extra days in the month to figure out a way to get another client or to make a sale or to hit the goal or to write a different email or to create another program, right? Like, awesome, I booked 3 clients. Amazing. Thank you, Lord, for this incredible income. I can't wait to keep pushing forward. I can't wait to keep going. Like, what else do I need to do? Where else do I need to show up? What gaps do I need to fill in my business? Okay, does that make sense? So this is not my main focus at all anymore. I don't really think about 10K months or 20K months or 30K months. I don't think about it at all. Most of the time I do hit 5-figure months. There are months where I don't, and that's okay, right? Like there are months where I only hit 8K. And there are months, there definitely have been months where I hit 5K, and I'm happy with that. Like literally, like what is there not to be happy about? And also, this leads to like the conclusion of this piece of the training. What are you making it mean? Like, what are you making it mean if you don't hit that 10K month? Does it mean that you're not worthy? Does it mean that you're not a good business coach? Does it mean that you're not a good business owner? Does it mean that your business is going to fail? Does it mean that you're not a good person or a good woman? Does it mean that everyone else is better than you? Like, what are you making that mean? Because it literally means nothing. It just means that you're in business and business goes up and down. Like, my dad has been an entrepreneur for decades. He literally has generated $500,000 in revenue in the past. Has he generated $500,000 in revenue every year? No. As a matter of fact, his business sucks right now. But you know what? He's not making it mean anything. He's not, right? Like, it's just not working right now. There's definitely a political weather that's not allowing him to grow as much as he should be. But that doesn't mean he's a bad entrepreneur or a bad person or a bad business owner, and therefore he shouldn't show up for his business. The man wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day, even though he had to decrease his income by like 2,000%. So it's kind of like the same attitude that I want you to have. Like, it means nothing, right? Like, it doesn't mean that you're never going to hit them. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that you're good. It just means that that's the income that you hit that month. What can we learn from it? How can we grow from it? What can we do different? Let's move on. That's it. Okay, that's it for my 1 rule. Does anyone have any questions around that? So let's see what we have. Hi, Amanda, welcome. Stephanie says, I love that. Show gratitude to all income. Yes, please do, guys. Please do. And this is super easy for me to do because I come from Venezuela, where making $100 a month, it's like, it's not the same. Like, I live in America. If I make $100 a month, that's really bad for me and for my lifestyle. I'm definitely going to go into debt. So it's not comparable to be like, you need to be grateful because there's people who are starving. I'm not saying it because of that, but it's just to give you perspective that it's like, be grateful for your money. The more gratitude you have for it, the easier it will be for you to make more of it because you're excited. You're coming from a place of excitement. You're coming from a good, energetic, intention versus like oh my God, I don't have enough, I can never do this, That's never going to take you anywhere. Hi, Bridget, welcome. Okay, so the last piece I wanted to show you guys today is just to kind of, because I remember when I wasn't hitting 5-figure months, I'm like, how are these people doing it? I don't get it. Like, it makes no sense to me. How many clients are they getting? And I would always want to have like a little inside peek of their business and see like where their numbers came from. So I kind of want to give you an idea of where my 10K months can come from. They are different every month, right? So it's like, what I'm telling you right now, it's not like it happens every single month, because remember, there's no certainty in business. So right now, what I'm going to tell you is like how many clients I typically have, how do I make up for that remainder amount of money, and what typically happens for me to like reach more than that. However, every month it's different. So like when I launch Overlook to Fully Booked, I literally have to have 0 clients to hit a 5-figure month, because that launch alone is a 5-figure launch. Does that happen every month? No. Do I have 8 clients every single month? No. Do I have 10 clients every single month? No. It always changes, but it's just to give you like an idea of what it could look like. So I try to write it down because I don't have like a presentation on Facebook, which they should do that, right? Like I know you can pay for Zoom and stuff so that you can have the presentations and do the live streams. And I'm like, I'm not paying for that. Why would I do that? I'll either do a Zoom meeting with you guys or come on here live. But anyway, so I charge, well, as of now, this is the last time around that I'm going to charge my current prices. I've been charging my prices for over a year. They're completely below industry average. I literally have people tell me, well, I literally have had people tell my clients, I really love her copy. I really love what she does. I want to work with her. And then when they have found out how much I charge, they're like, that's weird. Most people charge more. So my prices are definitely below industry average. So they're going up. I'm actually in the process of booking my last 3 one-on-one spots at this price point. So if you have been looking for a coach, if you have been wanting to work with me, this is definitely the time to hop on a discovery call with me. I'm going to post the link in the comments and on top of the training, because these are my last 3 spots at this month, at this price point, which means that my financials are going to change next month, but I'm just going to do it with what I have now, because I can't tell you how it's going to work out later. I have to figure that out. Okay, so right now I charge $850 a month for 6 months, okay? Or you can do $4,500 for the whole thing, okay? So if you think about it, I don't work with more than 8 to 10 full clients at a time, full one-on-one clients for my 6-month coaching program. That is a lot for me. So the first thing I want you to know behind my business financials is my bread and butter, where I make most of my money, is one-on-one coaching. I have a coaching certification. I really actually do love coaching. I know some people don't, and that's okay. A lot of my clients don't even coach because they're like, I'm a mom, I have this, I just don't have the time for it, and that's fine. My business model, coaching works amazing. I absolutely love coaching. I love working with my clients, and that's just where most of my income comes from. When I give birth to a baby, could that change? Yes, but right now that's what works for me. So I charge $850 a month, which means that if I have 8 clients at a time, which is usually around what I like to have, sometimes I'll have maybe 1 or 2 less, and sometimes I'll have maybe 1 or 2 more. So that's where it's like it changes. It depends on the stage in my life where I'm in. So for example, if I am going on a cruise that month, I may not want to try to book another client that month. So I'll stay at 6 or 7 and I'll be happy with that. Average is 8. So that means with my 8 clients, I make almost $7,000. Okay. So that's where most of my income comes from. I make $6,800 for my clients, for my one-on-one clients. Sometimes I do a little bit more, sometimes I do a little bit less. So let's just leave it at 7K. Then I have my second program that I sell, which is for clients who have been working with me for a while, and we just kind of want like a tune-up, right? Like, you got this, you know what you're doing, you've hit your goals, you know how to make money, you're super confident, you know, but it's just always good to have a partner as you're growing your business. So I do a follow-up program, and that follow-up program is $497. Okay. Usually I have about 4 people in that program, 4 of my old clients, maybe 6, because I had a few clients who have been in that program forever. It's around that, like 4 or 6 clients. It depends, right? Like, again, it's not going to be the same every time. So let's just say it's 6, okay? So just from those 6 clients, that's another $3,000 a month. And notice, I am not charging the craziest premium prices, and I'm still able to hit 5-figure months with the business model that works for me. Just right there with that, if I can achieve that most of the months, I can achieve my 5-figure months. Then there are months where I choose to have less one-on-one clients. For example, this year, I've kind of like toned down a little bit. It's been a crazy year for me. There has been a lot going on. My boyfriend is graduating. There's been a lot of changes in my life, whatever. So I've chosen to take a little bit less one-on-one clients at the same time. So what I do is I supplement that with different things. So I supplement that with a launch, with a passive income product, with a special offer. So like I think last month I did the 6-week accelerator. So I booked 3 spots to that 6-week accelerator, and that supplemented that extra income. So there's always like, my thing is like most of my income will come from my clients, and that's usually all I need. And then if I want extra, if I want to go above 10K months, if I want to supplement a month where I'm only making 8K or 7K or whatever, maybe it's a month where my clients are ending. So I'm like, okay, what can I do so I don't have to feel like the pressure of booking clients or whatever? I'll launch a passive income course that I have, or I'll pull out my yearly accelerator that I only offer three spots per year. Or maybe I'll think about my my overlooked to fully booked program, right? Like I don't really have a date for that because I do it whenever it feels good for my business. So that's kind of how it looks. But it's going to be different for everyone. And just to give you like an idea, because when I saw this exercise, I'm like, oh my God, I can do things my way. To hit $10,000, you need to book 2 clients at $5,000, or you need to book 3 clients at $3,300, right? Or you could also sell 20 spots to a course for $500. Like there's so many ways to hit that goal, and you really don't have to do it like my way. You don't have to do it Felicia's way. Like you literally have to find the business model that works for you. I'm going to wrap up this training. I think we went through a lot today. If anyone has any questions, please let me know in the comments. Definitely book a session if you want to work on hitting those 10K months together. If you want to work on fully booking out your coaching practice with my support by your side, me guiding you through all those 3 components that I talked about in the beginning, which is intuition, self-trust, confidence, and strategy. Definitely book that call. But the last thing I want to say here is I also want you to think about why that's so important to you. Like, do you even care that much to hit 10K months? And that's something, that's like a lot of deep work that I did when I started detaching from it, where I really came to the realization of like, you know what? They're awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love hitting high income goals. They allow me to do so much. They've allowed me to invest in the stock market, to open up a really high CD account where I have like a cushion in case something happens. They've helped me take me and my boyfriend out on vacations. They've helped me help my dad buy a car. Like the high income months are amazing. But when I really thought about it, it's like, I don't need them. Like I will still have a happy, successful, and fulfilling business even if I don't hit them. Like really, like if I hit $5,000 a month, I'm more than happy. I have money to pay my expenses. I have money to save up. I have money to go out to eat and, help out someone if they need to, right? So it's like, you don't need them. You want them. I mean, I highly doubt there's probably very few people in here who have $10,000 worth of expenses. And now if you have $10,000 worth of expenses, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like absolutely not. You may have horses to take care of or whatever. Maybe you have different properties or whatever. But the reality is that most of us don't need them. So I really want you to think about why they're so important to you and kind of try to drop the importance on them. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but when you drop the importance on them a little bit, you have so much more capacity to actually create them. Does that make sense? My friend Brooke's texting me, I'm sorry. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'll post the link to my discovery call. I'm so excited to book these 3 spots. and help you grow your business and help you hit your income goals and help you create the strategies that you need and help you move through all the fears, doubts, and insecurities that are blocking you from actually building an online business. It's really not as hard as you think, but it's also not supposed to be easy all the time, and that's okay too, okay? So have an amazing rest of your weekend. I will see you next Friday for another training, and if anything comes up, if you guys have any questions, comment, and I will definitely let you know. I will definitely answer your questions. Have an amazing weekend. Bye, everyone.